Spitfires, Sabres, and Seaplanes were just some of the new products to release into the world of simulation last week. Hi there, folks. My name's NovaWing24, and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings-on from the week that was. Welcome to Sunday, the 7th of April, 2024, for another exciting episode, and we're going to jump straight into it this week with a release that I noticed that I forgot from last week, so my bad on that one. So developer Cohen Simulations, that rotary-winged fanatic, has done it again with the release of his latest helicopter, his rendition of the R22 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And this helicopter is it probably would have to be the absolute staple of flight simulation helicopters. It really, really does. I mean, pretty much, I was honestly surprised that Microsoft Flight Simulator did not include an R22 by default in the sim when it launched, because it's pretty much been the go-to helicopter for the initial helicopter that Flight Simulator sort of put in there to say, hey, this is our helicopter code base for developers to go look at. Because just like it is in the sim, just like it is in real life, the R22 is a popular helicopter, especially when it comes to helicopter pilot training, and in the simulation world, it helps train developers. But moving on to this release, team over at Cohen Sim have released this rendition, leveraging off their experience of making the Robinson R66, which is its big brother, and comes to us with a highly detailed 3D model with full persistent state for your weights and various other settings for that one, a fully modeled realistic startup procedure, as well as customized modeling of a number of aircraft systems, including custom working breakers, animated passengers, including a number of different panel options, including full custom support for PMS and TDS GTN avionics suites. The team over at Cohen Sim always do amazing work. I mean, I can't really fault it for it. I am super looking forward to giving this thing a fly. As those of many of you know, helicopters aren't necessarily my thing, but I had a bucket ton of fun with the R66, and I am definitely looking forward to taking the R22 out for a spin. Now, if you want to pick this one up, you can add this one to your collection for $25 or your original equivalent, available now directly from Cohen Simulations. In a repeat release from the team over at Cohen Simulations, following hot on the heels of the R22, this week saw them release their rendition of the 222 UT, which I know some of you might be going, hang on a minute, doesn't Cohen Sim already have a 222? It absolutely does. It's got the 222B wheels, retractable wheeled variant, but the UT or utility variant was a skid variant that was geared primarily more towards heavy lifting and towards medevac services with skids rather than wheels as its undercarriage. Now, the 222 UT from Cohen Simulations actually has a bit of an interesting history, because it was one of, if not the first helicopter model that they ever produced back for X-Plane many, many moons ago. So the team have actually now brought it to life in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and have done it in a way to sort of nod, as a bit of a nod to not only their improvements in their capabilities and the quality of their products that they deliver to the flight simulation community, but also as a nod to the community themselves for their unwavering support over many, many years of development and rotary winged shenanigans. So this release gives, again, is the usual quality that we get from Cohen Simulations, with a highly detailed 3D model with custom coded avionics, realistic startup procedures, and realistic coded systems. This time for Microsoft Flight Simulator includes full support for the PMS and TDS GTN avionics suites, as well as supports for native content as well. Full VR options, as well as 45 liveries are included, including one that is a very special livery to the team over at helisimmer.com. So if you want to pick this one up, this one's coming available for a special price, as a sort of below their normal price releases, are coming in for $20 or your original equivalent, available now from Cohen Simulations. Sticking with Microsoft Flight Simulator now and moving into something a little bit faster, the team over at Shrike Simulations this week released their edition of the North American F-86 Sabre for MSFS. So I have a bit of a... Okay, so the Sabre is, again, one of the most iconic jet aircraft in history, being the... it wasn't the first frontline jet that the US forces used, but it's definitely the one that picks up the memory memories of the world through its starring role as its frontline fighter during the Korean War. Now, this rendition is, I believe, an F-86A with the 6 Browning cannons in the Browning machine guns in the nose and the iconic swept wings with a number of liveries included here. The team delivers us a high-quality 3D model with a custom professional sound set with a number of in their words, a period accurate sound set created to fully immerse both beginner and veteran flight simmers. It comes with a number of different custom animations as well as the usual things that we would expect to see from an aircraft, as well as pilot models to match each of the 13 included liveries. Various different external ordnance capabilities are modeled, including fuel tanks, missiles, bombs, and gun sights, and different machine gun firing effects, which is interesting, as well as custom various animations, custom lighting effect, as well as the option to include a GPS for those who wish to have the ability to follow the magenta line. Now, if you wanted to pick this one up, you can pick this one up directly from Strike Simulations for $20 or your regional equivalent, available now. Continuing on with aircraft releases for Microsoft Flight Simulator now, the team over at Flight Replicas have released their latest aircraft for MSFS with the releasing of I can't say it's a 2-for-1 package, but a double release this week for releasing 2 renditions of the Spitfire Mark V. So they're offering 2 packages here of the Spitfire Mark V and the tropical version of the Mark V of this supremely iconic aircraft from the Second World War. A couple of things of note: it looks like a very high quality 3D model, very much on par with the one that the team at Flying Iron Simulations did for the LF Mark 9. Liveries look pretty damn awesome for this one as well. Includes the one that piqued my interest was the fact it includes a Spitfire with an hook. So it includes a C5 variant as well, complete with custom folding wing animation. So very impressed by that one. Now, the team over at Flight Replicas have chosen to release this exclusively on the InSim marketplace, but they have split the package, which I find interesting. I'm not saying whether it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's interesting. So they've split the version. They split their release of this Mark V into a tropical aircraft and the standard variant. Now, on one level, their reasoning makes absolute sense because some virtual aviators may only want to fly the tropical version. Some virtual aviators may only want to fly the standard version of the Mark V. So I understand splitting the package into 2. What I find a bit odd is the fact that, at least at the time of making this video, there is no combined package for those of us who might want both of them. Now, according to a statement on their Facebook page, they've said that the split cost works out the same as if you bought the 2, if they offered it as their original intended package sale price for putting it all together. If you buy them separately, then you get the same price. But it's interesting how they've split the price. So they split it down as $8.50 US for the tropical version and $12.50 for the standard variant. You don't have to have the standard variant to have the tropical one, so it's not like it's a DLC for a DLC. It is a separate standalone product. So it's just an interesting way to split the cost. I would have thought just just cut it down the middle. But anyway, as I said, interesting choice of how they split it there. I'm not saying if it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's an interesting way that they've split it. Either way, I think it's, on some levels, though, as I said, I think it is a good idea. So I suppose I am sort of leaning towards it is a good idea to split it between giving people the option of which one they prefer to fly in, but the not releasing it as a package deal seems a bit odd. But they have said that they are open to doing that in the future. Just think they should have done it at the start. Anyway, moving on. As I said, if you're looking to pick this one up, you can pick this up for $12.50 for the standard Mark V, or you can pick it up for $8.50 for the tropical variant, available now from the InSim marketplace. And rounding out the aircraft releases for Microsoft Flight Simulator this week, the team over at Airplane Heaven have come out of nowhere with only releasing the preview images a few days ago, and then following that hot on the heels with the actual release of their rendition of the Republic P-47D Razorback version. So the P-47, in some ways, I think of this like the American Hurricane, because it's the sort of like, it was the stalwart, did so much hard work during the Second World War, but gets forgotten by so many people in history because of how beautiful the Mustang is. Everybody remembers the Mustang. Everybody forgets the P-47, which is always a bit of a shame. So the P-47 was built in huge numbers and used by a number of air forces around the world, and was the absolute stalwart for not only long-range escort missions, which is what it was originally designed to do, and achieved very, very successfully, and was the aircraft of choice for doing that before the Mustang came along. And actually pioneered the ability for fighter aircraft to escort bombers on long-range missions over Germany. But it also received a second career as a reliable and very effective air-to-ground, also ground attack aircraft. And that was actually a role that it took a starring role on with air forces other than the Americans. But the Americans would still indulge in that, even if they were designed, if their operation was primarily for air superiority. They would still use the Thunderbolt's extreme firepower to target targets of opportunity on their way back to base. So this aircraft comes to us with a highly accurate 3D model with a custom 3D audio sound set included as well, with fully authored in WWise, a number of authentic animations with including authentic cockpit detail with custom bespoke animations and effects, full PBR support. I don't know why why I include that in descriptions, because it's just expected now. With a custom pilot figure included, with a choice of different external ordnance, animated gun firing effect, which is interesting, as well as your choice of including an optional GPS unit if you are looking at, if you do want to follow the magenta line, you do have the option to do that as well as a number of liveries included, covering a number of different operators, primarily focused on the Americans, but also including Free French forces and Russian forces to give you some different options. Now, if you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $35 or original equivalent, available from Aeroplane Heaven and Orbix Direct, available now. Moving into scenery releases for Microsoft Flight Simulator now, the team at Axonos released their latest airport with the release of Richmond International Airport this week. So Virginia's premier aviation hub and the second largest airport in the state is a large-scale airport operating domestic and international flights. Includes custom airport layout as it appears in 2023, custom GSX profile, fully authored custom ground poly, as well as ground elevation data, as well as a number of different ground clutters and static GA and cargo aircraft that you can disable or enable as required from an in-menu option. Also includes custom-coded jetways as well as custom night lighting effects. And overall, looking at this one, really quite good. Like the team over at Axonos, I can never fault their work. Their work always looks solid and pretty damn reliable as a developer. They also included modeling of the US military installation at the far end of the field. So for the frantic palm tree pilots, you do have somewhere to land your V-22 and your CH-47 if you so desire. And if you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $15 or your original equivalent, available now from Axonos's Gumroad store. Continuing on with airport releases now, and one that's very much in the minds of people who attended FS Weekend recently. So this week we saw the release from Papa Hotel Scenery Design, the release of their edition of Lelystad Airport in the Netherlands. So this is an airport located just east of Amsterdam, and is actually the second busiest in terms of flight movements in the Netherlands, behind Schiphol, Amsterdam, but doesn't actually support commercial operations at the moment. Primarily, it's a GA and training airfield. So to have that number of air movements for an airport that doesn't have RPT service is pretty impressive, not gonna lie. Not only is it a home to a training hub of a number of flight training schools, it is also the home to a museum, the Aviodrome, which has a number of aircraft both on static display as well as supporting historical restoration work. Recently, the airport did undergo a plan, was approved for a plan for an expansion of Lelystad Airport. So there is intention to actually make RPT services available from there, with the new terminal building currently being currently being built in real life. So the team at Papa Hotel have actually chosen to design and recreate this airport as it appears at the end of 2023, start of 2024, with that terminal only partially finished. So it is still primarily as a GA airport at the moment, or as a training field. Custom taxi and a custom static aircraft with outdoor displays, including the full modelling of the Aviation Museum. But they've also added an option. They've actually completed the terminal as it is intended to be completed on the north side of the airport. So if you do want to have a glimpse into the future of what the airport will look like and start operating your regional jets or your airliners out of it, you do have the option to fast forward and have a peek into the future and actually start doing operations from that terminal. It includes custom aerial imagery used throughout, custom terrain elevation data supporting runway and taxiway sloping, custom coded approach lighting systems, and with a number of real world, number of clutter objects to bring to life and increase your immersion. And as I alluded before, the museum that is the home of FS Expo has also been modelled with detail, both internally with some internals of the main hangar building, as well as all external. All of the outdoor display exhibits are all modelled in some pretty impressive detail. So you can relive your FS weekend experience if you attended, and if you didn't get a chance to attend, then you can head over and get a virtual experience now. Now, if you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $16 or your regional equivalent, available now at Contrail. Rounding out now the Microsoft Flight Simulator releases this week from the team at Pyramid 8 Studios. As this week released a small little scenery, which for me actually has a pretty interesting impact. So this week we saw the release of their edition of the Sydney Seaplanes terminal in Sydney Harbour in Australia. So this is in some ways this scenery reminds me of some of the Parallel 42 sort of small sceneries, where this is a fairly low cost scenery here. So it's less than $10, and gives you those of us who enjoy flying float planes and seaplanes, gives us an option of somewhere else to go. So Sydney Seaplanes, for those who may not have been to Australia, is a very iconic tourist operation, and also, funnily enough, they actually did briefly for a while. They actually offered RPT services from Sydney Harbour to Lake Burley Griffin in Canberra, and they did that as an option for people who didn't want to have to go by the normal airport routes, which meant a lot longer in transitions and stuff like that. So, but for people wanting to attend business meetings in one or the other, it actually works out to be a really fast way of doing it. Anyway, I digress. This gives us a detailed rendition of the Sydney Seaplanes terminal building, as well as their lounge, including updates to the surrounding areas, the surrounding buildings, with the also giving renditions and updates to Shark Island and Cottage Point Inn, which are two areas which are serviced by Sydney Seaplanes as part of their tours and hangouts for the wealthy. If you want to go if you want to go try the life of the affluent for a while. Now, as I've said, if you want to pick this one up for $10 or your regional equivalent, available now from Orbix Direct. Moving out of the world of flight simulation now and moving into the world of snow and mud. So this week is for SnowRunner. We saw the release of their latest additional vehicle with the release of the Atom. Now, I'm not going to lie, when I first saw this, I thought, am I looking at something from the Fallout series or what? I don't know. But to be fair, the way things are built in Russia, that probably doesn't surprise me. Anyway, so this is the as of 67096-3N Atom. No, it is not powered by a nuclear reactor. This heavy class truck brings superior off-road capabilities with an additional 3-slot flatbed platform and a unique maintenance module. It is not included in any of the other previous annual passes, so this is a purely separate purchase, and you can pick this one up and add this one to your SnowRunner experience for $4 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And finally, rounding out the NovaWrap for this week, I saw the release for Assetto Corsa, their latest track pack with the release of their 24-hour Nürburgring Pack. So, honestly, I thought the Nürburgring was already in this game, to be honest. Obviously not. Anyway, this is a updated. So this is a new version of the Nürburgring, modeling not only the Nürburgring GP layout, but also the Nordschleife layout as well. So if you're wanting to challenge your mettle at racing around this possibly the world's most famous racetrack, you can absolutely give it a go now if you wanted to grab this for you. So you can, if you want to add this one to your Assetto Corsa experience and challenge yourself for a 24-hour race, perhaps, you can pick this one up for $13 US or your regional equivalent, available now on Steam. And with that, folks, that does now round out the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by following me on Facebook and on Twitter and on Twitch. Just search NovaWing24. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.